Now for today's keynote speaker, please join me in welcoming the Commander of United States Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral Samuel Paparo. Admiral Paparo just took over the command this past weekend, so we are thrilled to welcome him for his first public engagement. And joining Admiral Paparo today is Dr. Paul Lyons, Senior Director of Defense at SCSP.
Great, thanks. Thanks everybody for coming to the concluding keynote today. I'm Paul Lyons. I'm the Senior Director for Defense at SCSP. I'm honored today to lead a discussion with Admiral Samuel Paparo, the Commander of Indo-Pacific Command. So, Admiral, thanks for joining us virtually today. Thanks for the opportunity to have this discussion, and congratulations on taking command last week and making this a priority on your schedule.
Sure. Well, my thanks. Great to see you again. Great to be with so many dear friends in the audience, so many mentors in the audience, and honored to be part of this forum, which also celebrates the great legacy of Ash Carter, whose innovation, whose intellect, whose spirit, whose energy, whose patriotism still benefits our great country today.
Yeah, thanks, sir. So with time, we'll just dive right into the questions. This is your first public address as INDOPACOM, but you're no stranger to the theater, having formerly commanded Pacific Fleet. As you look around the security environment, where are the challenges that you see from your perch in INDOPACOM, and where are the opportunities?
Well, first and foremost is a revanchist, revisionist, expansionist People's Republic of China. Russia maintains the Pacific as a very high priority. And then North Korea is on the move, making changes in its own policies. And then violent extremist groups also maintain a threat in the area, and we've seen new and alarming connections among them all, and in new combinations among them all. And these remain challenges across, and we'll get into it a little bit as we continue to go through these discussions. But our opportunities are many, and so history may remember these times, and history may remember Xi Jinping as the greatest alliance builder the world has ever known, just the wrong kind of alliances for him. And so we've seen this growth in our alliances and partnerships, whether it's the spirit of Washington in the trilateral between the United States, Korea, and Japan, whether it is AUKUS, whether it is the trilateral between the Philippines, Japan, the United States, the Quad with India, Japan, and Australia and the United States. And other opportunities are really the spirit of hopefulness, the spirit of industry, the spirit of the information revolution that we're discussing right now. And this combination of our growing alliances and partnership, the spirit of innovation, the information revolution, if we're not seizing these opportunities right now, we're really doing the country and the world a great disservice.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for that. So continuing in that vein, we look at an assertive China in the South China Sea, threatening Vietnam and Philippines on a daily basis. And some here believe that they're trying to set the new normal in theater. And looking at us, looking at ourselves and our strategy and policies, is there a need to kind of move beyond and look at our deterrent strategies and maybe force posture in theater in light of that?
Well, we must always be looking inward. We must never be complacent about our strategy and about our postures, because we're facing an increasingly disordered and an increasingly chaotic world, and the world gets a vote on everything. And you're bringing up in the ways in which the PRC is trying to change the order. Just some months ago, Xi Jinping is overheard speaking to Vladimir Putin, saying that there are changes taking place that haven't taken place in 100 years, and we are driving them. And those changes are an increasingly chaotic and disordered world characterized by aggression, and characterized by violence, and characterized by disorder. And a world of rules is being replaced by a world characterized by the logic of power, and a world that is characterized by economics is now changing to a world of resiliency, and a world that was focused on efficiency is now being replaced by a world of really protectionism. And navigating these changes worldwide is really the crux of what we're doing across all of the instruments of statecraft. But really, from a national security standpoint, and really within my mission set, I've seen very little. Very little costs imposed on the Pacific in the air, missile, maritime mission sets that affect our deterrence posture across all the mission sets. You rightly bring up the PRC's aggression against Vietnam and its rightful sovereign rights in Vanguard Bank. And you've seen a double elevation of the strategic relationship between the United States and Vietnam, and the elevation to a comprehensive strategic partnership between the United States and Vietnam. You see the PRC's aggression in Second Thomas Shoal with the employment of water cannon against Philippine vessels. Most recently, for the first time, the employment of water cannon against Philippine Coast Guard in Scarborough Shoal. You see PRC aggression all throughout its excessive maritime claims there, and then you see increased aggression and coercion in the Taiwan Strait, and then increased cooperation with Russia, and then you're seeing increased cooperation and technical exchanges between North Korea and Russia. It really is a concerning environment. Our deterrence posture, our strategies must be under a constant view, and we must also be always taking a global view.
Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for a great lead-in to my next question. So, we see Putin's war with Ukraine. We see conflict rising in the Middle East. We see China and Iran collaborating in this, what we call in the SCSP world, this axis of disruptors, right? And as you point out, Admiral, add North Korea to the mix, a +1, if you will. Are we moving beyond great power competition into, in World War II terms, in Axis versus allies? Is that the world we're kind of heading towards, or are we already in that world?
Well, certainly these partnerships start to look like an axis. The PRC really has one ally, and it's North Korea, and most of us can be judged by the quality of our friends. And the PRC has entered into what they call a no limits partnership with Russia, and you see what Russia is conducting with Ukraine. For the United States, and within our networks and partnerships, we're not asking for exclusive relationships, and we're not asking for anyone to exclude their relationships with any other. And that's the difference, is that it's a complex world. For the United States, our number 2 trading partner is the People's Republic of China. And for many of our security partnerships, there are deep relationships with the People's Republic of China, who frequently accuse us of having a, quote, maritime clique and other little bits of agitprop that have absolutely no basis in truth. And that's not really what we're seeking. We're seeking a world based on a few fundamental sets of rules. And the first is sovereignty, and which is there's not big countries and small countries, there's equal sovereign countries. And equal sovereign countries have sovereign rights that include sovereign EEZ rights at sea. That intellectual property is an element of those rights, and the free exchange of ideas in intellectual property and freedom of movement across the seas and international airways is an element of that. And that's what we're seeking, and that's what we're seeking to uphold within those partnerships. So we're not seeking a bipolar world of axis and allies, but we certainly see that behavior manifest within our partners, and we certainly see our partners operate with punitive economic measures against other countries when they do something they dislike. If a country says, "Geez, COVID was a alarming thing. Maybe we should find out its origin," and they decide to crush their economy. These are the kinds of behaviors that we're seeing out of the People's Republic of China. And this is what I'm getting at when I talk about rules versus power. And we're seeking a world that's based on rules, and we're looking to uphold those rules for responsible behavior.
Yeah, thanks for that, sir. So we live in DC here, and we love breaking news. We love the buzzwords, the bumper stickers, if you will. Admiral Davidson has kind of coined this term, the 2027 window. And in your testimony, confirmation testimony, you made the statement, hey, China could go when they want tonight. We have to be ready. How do you assess their strategic risk in making a decision to, if I look at the peninsula term, fight tonight, right? To go today. Why is today? What's that risk calculus that you think would drive them to go before the Davidson window, for instance?
Well, most of what you need to know, you can get out of the old TV show Columbo, is means, motive, and opportunity. So means is they're looking to build a military that can go by 2027, and they've set that open source. Cool. And their motive is quite clear that they intend to do so. And Chairman Xi said as much to the President of the United States the last time that they spoke. And opportunity is the next element of that. That opportunity might come in the case of if they see it's in some way a closing window, or if they see somehow that the situation has crossed a Rubicon. And on that, in their 2005 anti-secession law, they've enshrined that in the way that they execute rule by law. And so while they have declared as a goal that by 2027 they intend to have built a military that can execute an operation to unify Taiwan by course, if they see a situation where they need to do a war by necessity before then, they most certainly would do so. And they have intended that since 2005 when they made that declaration. And in fact, in the Taiwan Straits crisis from 1996 to 1998, they made that quite clear as well. And this is what I mean by being ready today and tomorrow, next month, and in the years ahead. And they'll take into account the means, the motive, the opportunity, the conditions, and the risk. And the conditions they'll take into account is their own readiness. They'll take into account the readiness of Taiwan to resist, and they'll take into account the Allies' readiness and will to come to Taiwan's aid. And all of this they will also include into a risk calculus about its effect on their own internal stability, because any nation that decides to enter into war does so with some risk of internal stability. And these are serious matters that a leader takes into account before making that incredible, fateful decision to go. But they've made their intention quite known. We know that in the PRC, they say what they're going to do, and they do what they say. And they've made their intentions known quite well, and we watch that quite closely.
Okay, thank you for that. So you and I, SCSP, everybody in this room, we do national security. This is what we get up in the morning to do. We're vested in it. But there are those Americans that are pulling lobster traps in Maine, that are driving I-70, long-haul cargo. They're the farmers in Iowa plowing fields that don't do national security, but they trust the folks that do. How do you communicate to them that aren't in this business that we're ready, that if someone else's risk calculus doesn't match ours and they make that fateful decision, how do we communicate to those folks that we're ready?
Well, first, Paul, you're from New England. We used to be those guys. And, we're working for them. Yeah. And so, our folks were those shipyard workers and those watermen. And it is important for the security, the freedom, and the well-being of the nation that we're ready for this. And this matters because with the security in the Indo-Pacific, where 60% of the world's population, 60% of its economy, and 7 of the 10 of the world's largest militaries reside, it's of critical importance. And so the force is ready, and I am confident that our force would prevail. But we're serious, and so this is not profound implications of combat in the Pacific, of Vietnam War, of Korean War, of Second World War dimensions. And it means a profound view of our enemy's capabilities, our potential enemy capabilities, and it's a comprehensive plan that has the capability to dazzle, deceive, destroy our would-be adversaries' ability to see and sense the environment, employing a lot of the 21st century information age capability that the young people in that room are critical to delivering in the coming epoch. And then the employment of these cutting-edge technologies on both time-full and time-less combat capability that gets at the operational centers of gravity that our would-be adversaries are bringing to bear. And it is of critical importance to the American people. I have complete faith and confidence in the young Americans that are on the job, the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, Coast Guardsmen, and civilians that are on the front lines that are ready to go. There is much of the stuff that you see that lacks confidence, that gets done in open space, is a lot of bunk, because we can't really talk about how capable we are. And I'm confident that we would prevail. But by the same token, I'm also judicious and serious about it. I approach it with what's called a tragic mind. It's serious business, and our duties are serious and intense, and not to be taken lightly. But they should have confidence in the young people that are out on the front lines. And much is to the credit of the people that are in the crowd where you work right now.
Admiral, thanks for having this discussion today. Enriching conversation, enriching perspective. Thank you for coming to our concluding keynote, and we wish you much success in your new job at INDOPACOM. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Oh, great to see you.
Thank you, sir.